For quite some time now. You also help build stuff in here, and he's a really close friend of Mezrab. He's volunteering really hard, and recently started telling stories. You did also a storytelling course here at Mezrab, and this is your second story after the course.
Yes.
And we're very happy to have you again on this carpet, and very happy to see your progress as a storyteller, and we're very excited to hear your stories. Please give a warm round of applause for our first storyteller tonight.
So, first things first, I do have to apologize a little bit. The story that I really wanted to tell tonight is not the story that I'm going to tell. And the reason for that is as I was working on one story, I had this burning thought in the back of my mind. And again, I have to apologize because it's not the nicest topic to speak of. But with Pride Weekend just being around the corner, I figured this is probably the most important time to talk about something of this subject. But that being said, if this subject does make you uncomfortable, then know that I apologize. It's only coming from a good place. So a couple of weekends ago, I got to go out for the first time for non-Mezrab related reasons since quarantine. Anastasis is right, I've been here quite a while. So this was a non-Mezrab related night. And the night started off pretty good. We were actually allowed to go upstairs from the bar where there was a dance floor, and everything was fine. We could actually move a little bit as long as we respected the rules of social distancing. So 1.5 meters apart, and there couldn't be too much intermingling. But this was fine, because by chance, my friend was a DJ, and he was playing like the trashiest pop music I could ever imagine, and I was so happy just dancing on my own, listening to Ariana Grande, and Lady Gaga, and Beyonce, and Beyonce, and Beyonce. Thank you. And I was having so much fun that I decided that I would take my friend and we would go downstairs for a couple of more drinks. And while we were downstairs having our drinks, there was this person beside us. And they were hollering, and they were doing their like yes queens, and they were threatening to dance on top of the table. But you know what? I can't blame them. Because this quarantine business has us all feeling a bit wacky, and I'm pretty sure just being at the bar is enough to be happy. And you know what? It worked. He got our attention. He started talking to us. And it started off warm. We were exchanging, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? And all of this kind of made things feel a little bit normal. I got that feeling of, we're not in quarantine for a quick second. And then my friend left to go to the bathroom, and the stranger and myself were left alone. And that's when he started to show interest in me. And as a people-pleasing person, as a person who really kind of vibes off of his extroversion, it can be difficult for me to say to somebody, I'm not interested. But it's something I've been working on. And I know that the right thing to do was to make my intention clear. So I told him, I'm not interested. So then he asked me, oh, is it because you're straight? And I say to him, no, it's not because I'm straight. It's just, with everything going on, I just don't feel interested right now. And he moves a little bit closer. And I can feel my heart rate start to, because what I'm saying doesn't seem to be entering his skull. And all of a sudden, he's beside me. And I feel this pressure to explain my situation a little more. And I say to him, with everything that's going on, this isn't what I wanted to do tonight. It's not what I'm looking for. And I slip out this idea that I'm going through an asexual phase. I don't know why I said it. It's not true. It just seemed to be the proper thing to say for the situation. So he heard that, asexual phase, as in I'm not interested in anything remotely sexual. And he takes his hand and puts it directly onto my crotch. And says to me, so you don't feel anything? And this isn't the first time this has happened before, where somebody has grabbed me when I wasn't asking for it, when I explicitly displayed my consent and I said no, that they went ahead and grabbed anyways. And every time it happens, I have this reaction where after the fact I think, I should have said something. I'm a tall guy. I have a deep voice. I could have slapped him in his face. I could have taken his hand away from where I did not want it to be. But I don't. Because every time something like this happens, I get this electric feeling of shock. And I can't do anything. And so I can only say to him, I am not interested. This is not what I want. And so then he looks at me directly in the eyes and says, is it because you were molested or something? And as funny and ridiculous as that statement is, this is also not the first time this has happened to me, where I have tried to establish my boundary only for it to get misconstrued as something else. And now I'm in this fucking awkward situation where I can't lie because he's just going to push further, and I can't say, yeah, I've been totally molested, because that's not the truth. And I remember I started blabbering. I started coming up with this story between how these events have led me to feeling asexual, and none of it is true. I'm just blabbering. I'm just wanting it to stop. And luckily, by that stage, he gets the message, and he says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. All the best. Have a good night. And he gets to walk away seemingly perfectly fine with this interaction. But as I'm watching him leave, I feel the tension go from this unwanted attention into an internal feeling of guilt, or once I become aware of everything that I had said. And I know what some of you are thinking, because some of you have been in this culture, some of you have been to these bars, and you see, guys are going to be guys. This is what guys are going to do. This kind of thing happens all the fucking time. And you're absolutely right. It does happen all the time. But how many times does it have to happen before we look at this and say, this isn't normal? Because I have friends who have had sex with people simply because they didn't know how to say no. And these people will push and they'll bully until they get what they want. And to those people, I have a very clear message. The year is 2020. In the times of Corona, this issue of touch is ever more present. It should be obvious by now. We've heard it all over Twitter, we've heard it all over the news. No means no. No means no. And no may mean no for a reason that you're not entitled to, no matter how much you believe it. Because the real truth is, it doesn't matter how big your butt is, how awesome your cock is, how small your belly is, or how large your bank account is. Someone may just not be fucking interested. And to the people who are like me, who get put in these situations where you're just trying to have a good night and not make things awkward by overreacting, I have a message for you as well. No more. No more. No more will we let someone take their pain and try to make it part of our story. We're not going to be the victim to that anymore. Because the minute somebody starts disrespecting your personal space, you don't have to be polite anymore. You can look that person in the eyes, and you can say to them, fuck off.